All right. This is called Life is Just a Blank, and you have to fill in the blank. As I mentioned, this stems from and originates from a presentation I put together that can also be viewed online as an exhibit, and you can have fun with that
No,
too.
that is canceled. I scratched.
Why?
Because
But I think
it's a North Shore thing.
okay.
The register.
But I think you'll have fun with this presentation. It deals with idioms, and idioms are expressions that have, for the most part, unrelated words that when you put them together, they mean something else. Let me go on to the next page here for you. And you can read a bit of an introduction. I use the same introduction for all the various parts of the 7 presentations altogether. And how many times over the course of a day do you hear these things? They're so common in our vernacular that we hardly take the time to recognize them, with thousands in the English language alone. A few are presented here using a wide variety of materials, found mostly in dealer junk boxes. And it's true, there's nothing here that I spent more than $5 on, and you'll see them through here. And it's a good way of finding some interesting philatelic material and not spending a lot of money and making a nice presentation out of it. Now, this is an interactive presentation, and that's why I ask you please to have some paper and either a pencil or pen or something to write down, because this is a game format. What you're going to do, and we're going to take a practice on the very first one here, but what you're going to do, you're going to see a phrase. And then there's going to be an underline, and you have to guess what the underlined word or group of words is that relate to the idiom that's presented. Sounds a lot more complicated than it is, but you'll have 15 seconds from the time that the screen goes on to the time that you have to come up with an answer. If you guess it right, give yourself 1, or just mark 1 down there. If you don't, well, maybe the next time you'll get it on the next screen. So let's find out who has the highest total at the end of this particular presentation. And let me go on to the next. As I mentioned, this is one of 7 different thematic related parts. This particular one deals with nature. So all of these blanks are going to deal with something in nature. And you'll see it here using an example from the very first presentation. And here it is. Okay. In blank blank, what words are there that need that have the meaning in trouble? In blank blank, and this is your clue. You'll see here along the side as well too, you have a countdown clock which countdowns 15 seconds. So anybody got this one? Okay, you can go ahead and unmute yourself if you want. Everyone, you can go ahead and unmute yourself because it'd be good to hear what you have to say.
Marianne says hot water.
Okay, there's a good answer there. The only thing I'm going to...
Hot water too.
There you go. The one thing I'm going to want to ask is that you don't say anything until the time limit is up to give everybody a chance to look at it. Some of these are going to be very, very easy. Some of them are going to be a little bit more of a challenge for you here. Can you name this stamp? Do you know when that stamp came out?
Well, I named the stamp out
1938.
That's what you mean. I would say 38 also, yeah.
It's in the 1930s. I thought it might have been a little earlier than that, maybe around 34 or so, but this is part of the National Parks series that came both perforated and unperforated, or imperforate, as you see here. Okay, everybody get the idea of how this works? And again, you'll have 15 seconds for each screen. When I move on to the next screen, on the right-hand side, you're going to see that countdown clock. So here we go. It's time to start marking down the ones that you get right. Here we go. Here's the next one. Well, actually, this is the description part. I'm sorry. I should have gone on to the next one to show you, because the phrase is going to be here in red. And then I'm going to have below the item itself, you're going to see a description of how did that phrase come about, or where did that originate from. And all of the information that I give in this presentation and the other idioms as well too came from about 5 or 6 different sources. Some of them very old, some of them had a little bit of controversy as far as one said, well, no, the phrase came from this origin, another came from another, but I used the one that seemed to make the most sense to me when that case happened to be. Now, this particular phrase, in hot water, is believed to be British and mentioned by the Earl of Malmesbury. We are kept to use the modern phrase, in hot water, back in 1765. That's where this phrase is believed to have originated from. So, okay, now we're going to go on, and it's your turn. Nothing new, blank, 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 meaning the same. All right, the countdown clock has started. The 15 seconds is going. Think of what that is. There's a beep here, a bell, which you may or may not hear on your end. I don't know if you heard that or not, but that just says the time is up, and we've used here a meter from the Netherlands. And what is the clue here? Did you all take a good look?
Under the sun.
Nothing new under the sun. Absolutely right. That is a biblical expression. If you got it right, give yourself 1. If you got it wrong, give yourself 0. And here we go. There's a total of 25 in this presentation. Next one. Nature, it's all water, blank, blank, blank. The clock is ticking down. All right, let me turn my volume up. Maybe you can hear the ding a little better that way. This is a really interesting cover in that dollar box of junk that I found. Quite nice. From Ethiopia. And yes, go ahead.
Yeah, over the dam.
Over the dam, absolutely right. Okay, it means completed and over with. Unknown origin, but it was known in literary work back in 1942. Throw caution, blank, 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 meaning take a bold course. As I said, some of these are a little easier than others. I dare say most of you are going to get this one okay. There it is, it's time. Throw caution to the wind, meaning take a bold course. I'm sorry, I don't know where my where the cover went to here. Oh, it should be, but we'll move on to the next one. Here we go. Blank, 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 and a hard place, meaning in a difficult situation. This is a fun meter from Pitney Bowes. Us old folks will remember them. In a difficult situation, this will be an easy one. It's between a rock and a hard place. This is an American 20th century expression. As you see here, a version of an earlier expression from the 17th century, meaning between the devil and the deep blue sea. Here's the next one. Nature, blank, 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 and smoke it, meaning something to think about. I think you'll get this one too. There's the time.
Put it in your pipe.
Put that in your pipe or anything close to that. Absolutely right. There we go. Something to think about. And this came about because pipe smokers have always been thought of or seen as pensive thinkers. Charles Dickens wrote about that in Pickwick Papers. Fill your pipe with that air reflection. Y'all doing okay? All right, you got the hang of it now. Blank, blank is clear, meaning without obstacles. Another nice philatelic piece, an internal piece in Anguilla, from Anguilla.
The coast is clear.
The coast is clear. You're absolutely right, meaning without obstacles. Because a coastline is a place of unknown dangers. This is again used in a very early work back in 1530. And the expression in French comes out to, the king intends to go to Calais. I think you all know where Calais is, but we must first clear the coasts. Okay, moving along. Out of the frying pan and blank, 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 meaning from bad to worse. Again, I think most of you will get this one too. There we go.
Into the fire.
Into the fire, originally a Latin phrase from around 200 AD, later used by Sir Thomas More. I think I've definitely spelled his name wrong. Sorry about that. In 1528, meaning leapt, this is the phrase, leapt they like a flounder out of the frying pan and into the fire. Okay, on to the next one. Bury your head, blank, 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 meaning ignore danger or hide. Should be another easy one for you. By the way, this has a total of 25 phrases in it. We gave you the first one for free, so the highest score anyone can have is going to be 24. So again, this should be another easy one for you. Bury your head in the sand. There you go. Yep, you all got it right. So we're going to take a minute or two, and who's got the highest score as of right now?
Got them all so far.
Got them all. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else got them all so far? Nope, just one. All right. Well, let's keep that streak going, and let's go on to the next one. Clear, blank, blank, meaning uncover the truth. This may be a little harder to remember. Of course, you all know this stamp. And you all know the secret image in this stamp, by the way, too, come to think of it. You all know the image there, right? When you put that detector on there. Uncover the truth. Clear. What is it? Anybody get it?
As a bell, I would say, but
Clear the air.
What's that?
Clear the air.
Clear the air. There you go. Right. Yeah, see, some of these are a little tricky. You got to give it some thought to some of these. They're not all that easy. Meaning literally the blowing away of clouds after a storm. And this was written in 1380 by someone named John Wycliffe. Winds of truth should blow away heresies and clear the airs of Holy Church, which is now full trouble. And who knows what that was all about at the time. So here we go. We're on to the next one. Come out smelling blank, blank, blank. Meaning without accusation. All right, this should be another easy one, I think, for most of you here.
Like a rose. Yep.
Like a rose, right, without accusation. This is a 20th century American expression of unknown origin, which just means they have no idea where it came from, but that's about when it first came into use.
The rose on the cachet was a big hint.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yeah, you're picking up on these pretty good. Okay, here comes the next one. Turn over a blank, blank, meaning a change for the better. I happen to be a thematic specialist when it comes to exhibiting and a judge as well too. And the one thing I looked at in all of these presentations was to put a variety of what we call elements or philatelic elements in here. This happens to be a sunken deluxe proof, but you'll find meters, you'll find cancels, you'll find stamps, you'll find other things throughout the presentation here that maybe you're not that familiar with from a philatelic way, but we philatelists who are specialists in thematics do know about these things and want to make sure you know about them too. So this is an easy one. Turn over a new leaf. All right. Which actually referred to, when it was used for the first time, the leaf of a book from 1577, Chronicles of England, Scotland, and Ireland by Raphael Holmshed. All right, moving on to the next one. Gild blank blank, meaning make the beautiful more so. Found this on a nice cover and blew up the stamp to give you the hint of what's what. This should be another easy one for you.
The lily.
Gild the lily, paraphrase from William Shakespeare. To gild refined gold, to paint the lily. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Diamond blank blank blank, meaning untested potential. It's a stamp from Ghana. I think you'll find this one pretty easy too. There we go.
In the rough.
Yep.
No rough.
Yeah.
That's right. Again, from a work back in 1624. She is very honest and will be hard to cut as a rough diamond. And I wonder what that was all about. But we'll move on. Playing blank blank, to tempt danger. Yes, there's a clue in that meter.
Mhm.
This should be another easy one for everybody.
With fire.
With fire, absolutely right. And this is from another old work dating back to 1582. And you, of course, are welcome anytime to look into some of these books that have long been forgotten, and phrases if you want, but kind of interesting just to hear a little bit about the history of some of these expressions.
Mhm.
Moving right along. You should all get this one. Go climb blank blank, meaning you're kidding. This is actually a postal card from South Africa.
Go climber.
Climb a
A
what?
tree. A
A
tree.
Tree.
There we go. Go climb a tree. This is an American expression from the LA Times magazine, newspaper, and in this case, the magazine version of it, from 1935, from a writer named Orrin Arnold. Mentioned that Americans were turning to such, and what is that word?
Puerile.
Puerile?
Puerile, yeah.
Okay, there's some weird ones here I'm not all that familiar with.
Yeah.
Go climb a tree.
It's people wanting to improve the language, I suppose.
Okay, yeah, there you
People complaining about, complaining about idioms.
there you go.
I've heard another version of this of go climb a rock, but
There are several variations of some of these. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right.
yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Blank, 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 when we come to it, meaning worry later. Blank, 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 when we come to it. There should be another easy one, and the stamps were the giveaway here.
Yep.
Cross that bridge when we come to it, an old proverb. Blank, 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 before the trees, to see the entirety rather than the minutia. You can also do this in 3 words too, but again, a few different versions of this, but again, it will be familiar, I think, to most of you. Do you have it? Who wants to say? Anyone got it? Anyone taking a guess?
See the forest before the trees?
There you go. Again,
Yeah.
any version of that would go around here. I used can't see the forest before the trees, or can see the forest before the trees. However and in fact, instead of before, it could be for the trees. I've heard it that way too. Couple different versions, but you've got it. And on to the next one. Have your head blank, blank, blank. Being absent-minded.
Above the clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're all going to get this one.
In the clouds.
Yeah.
And again, anything around in the clouds. I don't know if you're familiar with the stamp series or not that came from Great Britain. I think around 1996 or 1998, somewhere around there. But you actually see the figure of the designer of the aircraft here in the background made to look like a cloud. Take a good look at that stamp.
Oh, yeah.
Neat.
I think it was a set of 5 stamps, if I remember right, somewhere just ringing a bell for me around 1998 or so. But that's what they wound up doing, making the image of the creator of the aircraft depicted there kind of look like a cloud in the background. But you can make out the nose and the mouth and that person there. So kind of an interesting set of stamps. Okay, moving on. Make hay blank 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 blank. Meaning to act when given the opportunity.
While the sun shines.
Please mute yourself.
Yep.
While the sun shines. There you go. You got it.
Yeah.
Farmers would cut hay on sunny days as rain would spoil it. And this is another golden oldie from 1546. When the sun shineth, make hay.
Amazing how old some of these are.
It shocked me, I'll tell you, when I really got into this. It's quite interesting. By the way, do you all know what a blind perf is? I hope you do. If you've never heard that expression, you can see right here. Can you see my pointer here or not on your screen?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You can see that here are the perforations, and then it kind of disappears.
Uh-huh.
The pins that were making perforations didn't fully cut through the paper there. That's what's called a blind perf, in case
Neat.
you might not heard of before. Okay, one word, saw blank, to snore. Another South African, or in this case Transkei, one of the homeland's postal cards from Southern Africa.
Saw wood.
Saw wood.
Mm-hmm.
Or
saw
logs.
anything related to that, you give yourself a point for. Again, they're all related. This is an early 20th century phrase, used a lot by cartoonists, but they could not actually tell where that phrase started from.
Okay, that makes sense. You see that on cartoons of a saw going through a log if somebody's sleeping. Yeah, that
You
makes
bet. Sorry, I kind of went ahead on this one here, but blank, 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 out of a molehill. Meaning to turn a minor issue into a major one. This is another easy one I think most of you will get. Do you know what these mountains are? Anyone, can you tell?
Well, it says Mount Everest on it.
It does, and that's
Nepal, presumably.
That's exactly right. Nepal.
Yeah, they're Nepal stamps.
Yep. Make a mountain out of a molehill. This is even older, apparently from early Greek and French expressions. Noted again in the mid-1500s from another work that everyone's forgotten about. It really is surprising what you can find in some dollar boxes sometimes. So, a nice cover from Nepal. commercial sent to Washington, D.C. Okay, here's the next one. Blank, blank. The limit, meaning unlimited. This one have you stumped?
The skies.
The sky's the limit. Absolutely right. This is from
Oh,
Don Quixote. Okay. Some of you, even I, remember reading Don Quixote, but don't remember that phrase necessarily in it. That was a long time ago, though. Hitch your wagon, blank, blank, blank. Meaning to aim high. And old-timers like me will remember the postal buddy code cards that came out by the post office that were printed up, used first for people moving from one place to another. So hitch your wagon, and what is
to the stars. Yeah.
the star or to the stars, anything like that is going to be acceptable. Ralph Waldo Emerson came up with that expression in 1870, a little closer to our time, so to speak, as you see there. Blank, blank, mark. Meaning maximum achievement. Blank, blank, mark. Don't give it away if you got it. Again, this takes a little bit of thought. Did you all take a good look at the auxiliary marking right here?
High water.
Huh? High water. There you go. High water mark. There it is. And this is mentioned in a letter dating back to 1814. And the word or expression there is the high water mark of the English faction is very much below the ebb of French violence. They had a way with words back then. What can I say? All right, ready for the next one? If you're ready for the next one, you're ready for the next presentation to do all on your own using one of those links that I had passed to you there in the chat session.